How's it going, guys? Are you guys hyped for this week? Because I definitely am. It is Avengers week. That's right. This week, Avengers Infinity War is coming to theaters. And this film culminates 10 whole years. The first 10 years of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which has given us some of the best superhero movies of all time that completely reinvented the superhero movie and brought it into the mainstream, full-fledged into the mainstream. So I thought it would be a good idea to make a list of my personal favorites out of the 17, I believe, released so far. A list of my favorite Marvel movies of the MCU, of course, going into Infinity War. Of course, this list will probably change after Infinity War, but as it stands currently, these are my top 10 MCU movies. Starting off at number 10, we have Ant-Man. So Ant-Man put Paul Rudd front and center as the lead, which was a great choice. This guy works so well in the MCU. He has great charisma, and he has great chemistry with Michael Pena, who plays his best friend. Michael Pena, if you've watched Ant-Man, you probably mostly remember it for Michael Pena's performance as Lewis. Hilarious side character. It had a very silly premise, and it really had fun with it. So at number 10, I gotta go with Ant-Man. Number 9, we have Doctor Strange. This movie was released about a year and a half ago. I really enjoyed it. It has a really solid cast and amazing visuals. What puts this movie over the top in quality is its amazing visuals, and it was so cool seeing Doctor Strange confirm and compromise his scientific beliefs and mix them with magic, because so far the MCU has done a great job at saying, oh, magic and science, they have some interplay, they can be one and the same thing. They've said that since Thor, and Doctor Strange has brought that mystical realm full circle. Great visuals, great cast, great time altogether. Doctor Strange at number 9. At number 8, we have Thor Ragnarok, which came out last year. Really funny movie. One of the funnier MCU movies. Definitely. It had it soft rebooted Thor. It kept the same actor, but virtually changed everything about him. He lost his hammer, he lost his eye, he lost his homeworld, he lost his father. But it was a really entertaining movie at that. It was a very world-dominating, world-ending scenario, but they had so much fun with the premise, you couldn't help but have so much fun in Thor Ragnarok. I saw it twice in the theaters. Hilarious movie, although if I had to nitpick, it just couldn't handle a serious moment. Your homeworld is being destroyed and you make a joke about it. It just didn't sit well for me. My ideal superhero movie, there is a mix of drama and action and comedy. Thor Ragnarok was so heavy on the comedy, it couldn't handle a serious moment. So I just gotta put it a little higher up on the list. At number 7, we have the original Iron Man. This is probably gonna be a lot higher on most people's lists. Right now, for me, it's sitting at number 7 out of 18. It was the one that kickstarted all. Robert Downey Jr. was born to play this part. He had such a great time in the role. It was a very solid superhero origin story because you really saw the change. You saw the shift of Tony Stark's mentality that, oh crap, my weapons are used to harm others. I gotta put a stop to this. It was so cool seeing the hero's journey through the eyes of Tony Stark. Iron Man 1 was a buttload of fun, and it's sitting at number 7 on my list. At number 6, we have the original Avengers. Now, this was a lot higher on the list than I presumed it would be when I was making this list, but this movie is just phenomenal. The way that they blended so many characters and they balanced so many personalities, because that was everyone's worry going into the first Avengers. How are they going to manage so many characters? And they pulled it off. Everyone gets their time to shine in the spotlight. Loki is an amazing villain, great personalities, great action, just an all-around spectacle. The original Avengers is number 6 on my list. At number 5, we have Guardians of the Galaxy. This is very high on my list just because it is one of the most unique theater experiences I ever had. I was in DC for a weekend. I just decided I'd go to the movies by myself. I sat at the back of a crowded theater and I laughed the hardest. I was clenching my sides. This movie is just all no holds barred hilarious. The character interactions, it did such a good job of feeling like an old-timey superhero movie, but also feeling quite relevant and mainstream. It had some amazing soundtrack. Everyone knows Guardians for its soundtrack. Great sci-fi action, hilarious characters, great writing. Guardians of the Galaxy is number 5 on my list. At number 4, we have Spider-Man Homecoming. This movie is near and dear to my heart for so many reasons. It is aptly named. They finally brought him home. Sony had Spider-Man in their ice-cold grip, and Marvel brought him back where he belongs. Tom Holland is the definitive on-screen Spider-Man. I grew up with the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. The Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies were not just my first superhero movies, they were some of my first movies, period. So yes, Tobey is up there in quality and nostalgia value for me. But this kid Tom Holland, he just rocks it. He shows the soft, reserved, quirky, nerdy side of Peter Parker, but he's also funny and down to earth, and we can relate to him. He is an amazing Spider-Man. Spider-Man Homecoming, great villain. Michael Keaton gave an amazing performance as the Vulture, one of the much better villains in the MCU. Spider-Man Homecoming is number 4 on the list. At number 3, number 3 and number 2 were difficult. I sat here for quite some time thinking, what's number 3 and number 2? They flip-flopped several times, but number 3, I'm going to go Captain America Civil War. This is the movie that put Team Cap versus Team Iron Man. What makes this movie so awesome is the Russo brothers' direction of action and writing and character balance. The action in this movie is so great. The Russo brothers, with both this and Winter Soldier, they have such a knack for directing hand-to-hand combat sequences and using a variety of camera angles and close and zoom-in shots that just make the action so much more intense. The stunt work in this movie in Winter Soldier is off the charts. Phenomenal. Civil War is also awesome for just showing how much Cap and Iron Man have developed as characters, and seeing those ideologies clash as both enemies on the front lines, but friends, was heartbreaking. This is the film that introduced T'Challa, the Black Panther, and Tom Holland's Spider-Man. It is just phenomenal. So I basically gave it away already. But yes, number 2 is Captain America the Winter Soldier. Only reason I put this above Civil War, they have a lot of similarities in just how they handle Cap's personality, of how he stands his ground, which is great. Captain America gets the most development in the Winter Soldier. He has a more streamlined story arc in the Winter Soldier. The Winter Soldier is a political thriller, and it shows Cap going head-to-head with the ideologies of S.H.I.E.L.D., meaning, should we protect people by neutralizing threats before they even happen, or should people be punished after the crime? Cap's really conflicted in this movie, and it makes him really relatable. You really get behind Cap in this movie. Amazing stunt work. Winter Soldier. This movie, the only reason I had to put this above Civil War is just it has too many just amazing action sequences. The bridge sequence, the elevator sequence, the helicarrier fights. Winter Soldier just goes so hard on so many levels. It makes number 2 on my list. It was also really awesome just seeing how much Captain America and Black Widow got to bond in this movie, and their friendship has a lot of callbacks and developments in Civil War, which I enjoyed seeing. Winter Soldier makes number 2 on the list. And number 1, I don't know if the shirt gave it away or the process of elimination, but yes, number 1 is Black Panther. There's a lot I've said about this movie over the last 2 months. I've seen it 3 times in theaters. This is just overall my favorite. It's so many reasons. First of all, let's talk about the villain. Killmonger is a phenomenal villain. I'd argue he's the best villain in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and in fact the best comic book villain since Heath Ledger's Joker in The Dark Knight. He had a stance. He stood for something. He stood for the empowerment of black people around the world. His methods were too extreme, but Killmonger pushed T'Challa in physical ways and psychological ways and philosophical ways. He changed the whole dynamic of Wakanda. Michael B. Jordan's performance was phenomenal. Killmonger was an awesome villain. And also, Black Panther is just the most powerfully acted, character-driven, and socially relevant movie of the MCU. How this movie tackled nuanced social issues so well in that, as far as isolationist policies of countries, the African American experience, just there's so many ways you can socially break down the messages of Black Panther. And the action was phenomenal. The visuals, I'll admit, the visuals did look a little sloppy towards the final fight. It does look like a CGI mess at times because they're moving so fast in their suits. But overall, this movie is a cultural celebration of Africa, and it's a superhero movie at the same time. Awesome performance that, honestly, Chadwick Boseman's performance in this movie, it's so powerful. It drove me to tears several times in the theater. Very, very good character study of several amazing characters. Shuri is awesome. Can't wait to see her in Infinity War. Black Panther is just my favorite. I'm not saying it's definitively the best, but this is my subjective list of my favorite movies in the MCU this far. I cannot wait until Infinity War. If you have your own list of your favorite Marvel movies, drop them down in the comments. I'd love to hear what you'd say. I am Pac. Thanks so much for hearing my perspective. Please like this video if you liked it. Do a huge favor for the channel. Comment, subscribe, and thanks for watching, and I'm out for now.